Welcome everybody, my name is Andrea Miller and I'm a registered dietitian and certified diabetes educator here at community hospitals and wellness centers. Welcome to our live audience and our viewers at home to Live It, Cinco de Mayo. This is a cooking show that provides simple tips and tricks on how to live a healthier lifestyle. Also, please help me in welcoming Chad Tinkle. He's the Executive Vice President here at the hospital, and he's going to be my sous chef for today.
Thanks for having me.
So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get all of the vegetables chopped. It's important before you start cooking to get your vegetables chopped so that they're all ready to go and you don't have things getting overcooked or burnt while you're chopping your vegetables. So we're going to start with an onion, just a simple yellow onion. Onions are a wonderful ingredient to add to as many things as you can. They're super nutritious for you, and they're also really inexpensive. So to cut an onion, first we're going to take off the papery layer. And try to remove as little as you can because some of the onion's nutrients are in the outermost layers. So you lose some of the nutrients if you take too much of the onion off. So as you can see, I left a little nub here at the back. I'm going to cut my onion in half. And then I'm going to stand it on, I'm actually going to cut a little bit more off here so I have a flatter surface. I'm going to stand it on its end and just make a couple slices. This is a really easy way to dice an onion. It really saves a lot of time. So I made 2 slices with it on its end. Now I'm going to make some slices going this way. And then once you dice across, it just makes a perfect little dice. And with this nub little back here that I was using, you can just throw that away then. It's kind of like your little handle when you're chopping an onion. Again, I just want a little bit so I have a flat surface. So 1 or 2 slices. You don't have to have the onion really finely diced. Kind of just chunking everything. All right, Chad, your turn.
All right.
We'll add it to the pan.
Thank you.
I will let him do more than this, too, so. I let my 2-year-old, add things to the pan. I'm kidding.
Wow.
No.
All right.
You can do more than my 2-year-old, I'm sure.
Just a little bit more.
No, I actually hear Chad's a pretty good cook, so. He does a lot of the cooking for his family, he said.
It's pretty simple cooking that I mostly do. I just try to get the job done so we can get on with our busy schedules. As what Andrea's showing you today, a quick meal here.
Okay, so again, I'm just chopping up this onion, or this green pepper, kind of quickly, just dicing it. This is a really forgiving recipe. It doesn't have to be perfect. Again, the idea here is just doing some simple things to get a healthy meal on the table for your family. So, as you can see, this isn't perfect, but it's, just a diced up green pepper.
Time for the 2-year-old. All right.
Okay, so now we'll get some heat going. So we'll turn on the burner. Let's see. And now we're going to add some ground chicken. So you might be wondering, where to find ground chicken. You've probably never cooked with ground chicken before, and I hadn't either until coming up with this recipe. If you don't want to use ground chicken, you could also use ground beef, ground turkey, venison, whatever you have, you can use in this recipe. Ground chicken is a great choice because it has a very mild flavor. And it's also extra healthy for you because it doesn't have as much saturated fat and cholesterol as ground beef. It's also really inexpensive. I think our caterer, Angie, found the chicken breast on sale for $1.50. I got it at Chief And you may not find it on the shelves at Chief, but if you go to the butcher's counter and ring the bell, they will grind it for you at no additional cost. So you could go buy the chicken on sale and then store it ground in your freezer to use later. So Chad's just doing a great job at browning. I do not let my 2-year-old do this. So.
I've graduated past him. All right.
So he's doing a great job browning the meat here. So we're just going to let the meat finish browning, and then we're going to add our additional ingredients. So we're also using some beans in this recipe. Beans are wonderful for you as well. They're a great source of fiber and protein. There's actually some studies out there that people that include beans in their diet more frequently have an easier, can maintain their weight better. So really good for weight maintenance as well. And just loaded with nutrients. I can't say enough about beans. How's our chicken looking? Still a little pink.
Yeah.
Still a little pink. It's coming along though. So one of the reasons why I chose this recipe is, well, number one, it's very forgiving. You can add and subtract, different ingredients, things that your family doesn't like. You could add more spice if your family likes spice. You can tone down the spice if your family doesn't like spice. It's simple, so this is an enchilada bake. So instead of, rolling enchiladas, which takes time, we're kind of dumping all of the ingredients in the pan. So that way you can, go hang out with your family, play with your kids, do the things that you want to do instead of, spending lots of time in the kitchen. So this recipe is meant to go together very quickly, so you have lots of extra time.
We're getting there.
Get in there. Maybe turn this heat up a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's get some heat going. All right.
So when they ring the bell at Chief's Butcher, should they tell them you sent them?
Actually, when I went to Chief's, I actually said to them, I'm doing an experiment. Really? You're doing an experiment? Yes, actually I am, and I might be sending more people to get ground chicken from you, so be prepared to grind some meat. And they said, yeah, that's what we're here for. So
there you go.
So yeah, you can tell them I sent you when there's lines of people to get, ground chicken breast.
We're doing a little better now.
A little bit better. Almost there. That looks good to me. We're going to keep cooking it, actually. So we'll add the beans, tomatoes, and all of the rest of the ingredients and just kind of let it all simmer together.
Would you like me to do that now?
Yeah, go ahead and add. We have some black beans. Just a regular can of black beans. If you, are someone that likes to cook and you want to make your own or cook your own beans from scratch, from dried beans, you can certainly do that. And then we have a can of just diced tomatoes with green chilies, a 10-ounce can. We're adding 1/3 cup of water and our seasoning. So we have a tablespoon of salt-free taco seasoning, which you all have the recipe for, basically chili powder, onion powder, garlic powder, paprika, something else probably in there too, cumin. Cumin is the last ingredient. So, so you have the recipe if you want to make that at home. But again, if you just want to use regular taco seasoning that you get pre-made, you can certainly do that as well. We don't always have to be perfect when we're preparing recipes at home. If you're looking for some simple strategies to cut time, you don't have time to make your own taco seasoning, that's fine. Just use the store-bought kind. It's still going to be healthier than running through a fast food restaurant. So now that everything is in the pan and it all looks like it's all coming together, we're just going to kind of let the water start to simmer a little bit. And once we see that it starts to simmer, we are going to cover.
I hear it simmering. Are we? Want a little more?
I think it's good.
Okay.
I might actually turn it, so we'll cover it. And this is another little tip. We actually do not have a lid that fits our pot. And you might not either. You might, get cooking, you're like, gosh, I don't have a lid that fits, so what am I going to do? We have a piece of foil, and we're using a piece of foil to cover our mixture. So I'm going to just make sure that we don't want it, to burn while we go on and do our popsicles. So just going to kind of let it simmer there for about 10 minutes, and we're going to move on and do our popsicles. So for the popsicles, We're going to start out with some yogurt. We have toasted coconut vanilla yogurt. So I'm going to have Chad just add that in. You want to add the yogurt or whatever liquid you're using to the blender first, because that's going to help the blades move through the rest of the ingredients. And if you don't have the coconut, Greek, whatever, you can certainly use any type of yogurt you want. You need about 5.3 or 6 ounces of a yogurt, whatever flavor you like. But we found that the coconut makes the popsicles taste really good. So thank you. All right, so now we're going to add strawberries. So strawberries are a great source of vitamin C. And it's 6 ounces of strawberries, which comes out to about 8 whole medium-sized strawberries. Now we're going to add a banana. So with a banana, the more brown spots on your banana, the better, because this is the only sweetener we are adding to the popsicle. So that's what's going to make them taste sweet. There is a little bit of sweetener in the yogurt, but we're not adding any sugar or honey or syrup or anything like that to the popsicles. So they're really healthy. And now the last ingredient, the secret ingredient, the avocado. So some of you might be thinking, an avocado in a popsicle? That doesn't sound very good. But actually, it's wonderful, and I love putting avocados in my smoothies and popsicles because you can't really taste it once it gets blended in there with all the fruit. I mean, you guys tried the popsicles. Could you taste the avocado in it? It just kind of makes it really creamy. So you also might be wondering, how do I pick a good avocado at the grocery store? I've never used avocados before. So my strategy for picking a good avocado is I buy them as green as I possibly can. You don't want to eat them green. They will not taste good when they're green. But in the grocery store, what's everybody doing to an avocado? They're squishing it and squeezing it to see if it's ripe. And then when you get that avocado home, after everybody has squished and squeezed it, it's bruised. There's brown spots on the inside, and nobody wants to eat an avocado that has brown spots on the inside. That's not very appealing. So I buy them green, and I take them home, and I let them sit on my counter, and I let them ripen at home. So this is a ripe avocado. It's kind of brown and has like a little give to it. If you press it with your thumb, it has a little bit of give. Once it's ripe, if you're not ready to use it right away, it'll keep ripening on your counter. So if you toss it in your refrigerator, it will stay at the ripeness at which you put it in there. Might continue to ripen a little bit, but definitely more slowly. Avocados don't generally last much more than a week in my house before someone eats them, but I'm sure they might last a little bit longer than a week in your refrigerator once they're the perfect ripeness. Okay, so to cut an avocado, I'm just going to take a paring knife and slice down the middle of the avocado, and then twist it. So the seed is right there in the middle, and we have 2 halves. I'll let Chad scoop the avocado into the blender, and this is the fun part. We have a pit in the other half, and sometimes it's hard to get that pit out. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, but I like to hit the pit with a knife, and then it just pops right out. And then the hard part is getting the seed off of the knife. All right, we can scoop that one in too. Check on this and see how it's doing. Simmering away. Looking good, not burning.
Wait, we ready for the blender?
Okay, it's going to get loud in here. I think we're ready to blend.
All right. Careful, fun. All right, try it.
All right, so let's take a look at it and see if all the ingredients got blended together. Sometimes it takes a couple times to make sure that everything is blended well. So I'm going to give it just a quick stir maybe. Sometimes that helps. And then we'll blend it one more time just to make sure all the ingredients are well incorporated. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118, 119, 120, we're good. And you really can't overblend this, so, the more the better. Okay, so now is when we are going to, put the popsicle into our mold. If you don't like popsicles, if you don't like cold things, you could always add more milk and ice to this and drink it as a smoothie. That's also an option. So if you don't have a popsicle mold, you can just use a small cup, a popsicle stick, and a piece of foil. You're probably going to want multiple of them, but we'll just do one for today. I'm not sure if this is going to pour. We'll see. Oh, yep. Slowly. It's thick. That's why they're so creamy. Okay, so I just have a little bit in there. You can make them as big of popsicles as you want, but if you're giving them to kids, smaller usually is better. So then I'm just going to take my foil and cover the cup. And then this is fun too. Stab the stick right in. The foil is going to help keep the stick right in the middle. And then pop it in your freezer, freeze it for a couple hours, several hours until it's solid. And then once it's solid, take the foil off, run the cup under hot water, and then it pops right out of the cup. So that's a simple way if you don't have popsicle molds, but here are a couple popsicle molds that I like to use at home. This is just a basic mold with sticks. It's reusable. Costs about $3. These are a little bit more expensive, but they're super fun for kids. You can pour smoothies or juice, whatever in here. These are little silicone popsicle molds. So you pour whatever you want in here, and this lid is ultra tight and leak proof. So if you freeze them on their side, nothing spills out. Now once these are frozen, you can also send these with your kids or pack them in your lunch to take to work, if you're eating them as an adult. So once you get to work, once they're out of the freezer, they're not going to stay frozen, obviously, but you can drink it then as a smoothie. So, again, your kids can drink a smoothie that incorporates fruits and vegetables, or you can drink a smoothie that incorporates fruits and vegetables. Just a simple way to eat healthier but still enjoy what you're eating. Okay, so now back to our casserole. This should be done enough, right? So once this meat mixture, all right, once this meat mixture is all cooked, you really could do a couple of things with it. Obviously, in this recipe, we're putting it in a casserole, but if you didn't have time to bake the casserole, you certainly could take this mixture and just put it in a tortilla, and you have, little burritos or tacos. But we are making a casserole, so we are going to cut the tortillas in half. We have 6 whole wheat tortillas here. Okay, and then I'm going to have Chad spray the pan real quick.
Yeah, there it is.
We're going to make 3 layers here. So first start with your cooking spray so that nothing sticks. We're going to turn off the heat here as well. Don't need that anymore. I'm just going to scoop a little bit of this mixture into the bottom of the pan. And then 4 tortillas. We're going to put the flat edges against the sides so that it covers the entire casserole. And I'll have Chad put the cheese on. Oh, it's not cheese yet, but you can do that when we're ready.
Okay.
Then another layer of the meat and beans. And now the cheese. All right. Now more tortillas. That looks great. Good job, Chad.
Thank you, Andrea. Maybe up to a 6-year-old now?
You're officially pro chef. And Chad, he didn't know that. He didn't know what we were doing at all before coming in today. he came in and told him, just, do what I tell you, and
Just like at home.
He's doing a great job. So the last layer of tortillas. And the last bit of meat. And we saved the largest amount of cheese for the last layer. We're going to pile it on top. And then we're going to cover it with foil.
Oh, here you go. And your toothpicks.
And the toothpicks. All right. So the toothpicks are in there. If you don't have toothpicks, you don't have to put them in there. They're there just to keep the foil from touching the cheese. You could also use popsicle sticks, whatever, just so that the foil's not touching the cheese. So at this point, you take it and pop it in the oven for about 45 minutes to an hour. But if you don't have that much time, I'm sure it would be okay with less time. Everything in here is cooked. So, by putting it in the oven, you're not, it doesn't have to reach a temperature because it's already at that temperature once you put it all together. If you don't want to eat it the night that you prepare the ingredients, you could always, at this point, put it into the refrigerator and wait until another night later in the week. Generally it would probably be good in the refrigerator for, maybe 48 hours, and then put it in the oven and bake it. If you want to wait even longer to eat this, you could put it in the freezer and freeze it and pull it out, a month from now, and then have the casserole on a busy night when you don't feel like cooking. So I think that's everything that we're showing you today. Does anyone have any questions?
Where do you get the green popsicle mold at?
I got that on Amazon. I bought them around Christmas time, and they were 50% off then. And someone recently told me that they bought them, and they were still 50% off. So chances are, that's not the real price. So they're about $10 on Amazon. Anything else?
Did you drain the beans?
I did. Yep, I drained and rinsed the beans before putting them into the pot. Anything else? Well, thank you all for coming today. You were a great audience, and hopefully you enjoyed the samples.
Thank you, Andrea.
Thank you, Chad, for helping me out today.